Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Nazrin, good morning and good afternoon. Welcome back again in my YouTube channel. I'm your host Danish Murad, and today we are going to discuss a topic that is about improving English language. So, how we should have to improve English language, why English language is very important, especially in current time, especially in Gilgit Baltistan as well as whole Pakistan. Today, one of my best friend he joined today because he is English department student in Karakum International University. Today, we are going to learn some new things from him, and he will say something about his practices, his own experience regarding how he improved his English language. So, sir, and very welcome.
I
So,
am Makbul Hussain Sanaf Rasool from Baltistan. Now I am a student of English department, bridging sixth. And today I am our host and would like to explore the importance of English. So he asked me, my friends, why English is important in this era in Baltistan in a current.
exactly,
So I think English is a very important language in not Baltistan, in the whole world, because many pupils we are also see watch in different news, and whenever we opens our book there is a mentions English is a very important, and English is an international language.
yes, exactly,
How we can improve our communication skills in English? Definitely, I am not a fluently speakers in these times.
and
I
that's
am
correct.
trying.
Yeah,
Yeah, I am not experienced persons, and I am also learning in process in these times.
exactly,
So if you want to speak English, what types of vocabularies your minds and what types of structures in your minds, what types of tenses in your minds, you try to speak in English. Then automatically you will be changed. You will be habitual to yourself. Many times we are thinking, many times we are speaking in English, day times we stop our conversation. The behind reason is that when we are conversing our speakings, that times we stop here. The reason is that we are thinking our mother language.
exactly, exactly,
What like this is a book, this is a mobile phone. In a mobile phone is called what in Urdu. So we try to borrow these words from to English vocabulary change Urdu to English. That times we stop. That is a barrier in our communication skills. If you fluently speakers, you try and try again is not a discourage.
exactly.
Like you are speaking in our conversations, you don't stop. You try to speak and speak. When you have no words, you borrow the words from Urdu or your mother tongue Shina or Balti Burishki. Then you will be automatically becomes a fluent speakers. It is not a difficult.
Exactly, exactly. That is very good point. So, we are uh, student and mostly students go in private schools. In private schools, their all books are in academic are in an English, but still they reach in university level, they are getting hesitant to speak English. But they can read, but they even understand the things as it is in books and in the lectures. But they are getting hesitant and afraid to spoke or speak in front of anyone. So, what is the reason behind that? Why they are getting afraid?
Yeah, in it is not only in a public school. It is in the whole schools. The curriculum is consist of English books.
Exactly.
Like many students, they are reading just they are reading to understand their words and vocabularies, but they cannot to be understand the conversations of English.
Exactly.
The reason is that many people they cannot to be try to speak English. In a behind, whenever I do the all the yeah, in a global distance, all the public and government sectors, I am going to give advice. So in a class, you try to speak English and English by use of code switching and shifting. You
Exactly.
try to speak English and try to reply the answers, make an environment of English. Finally, they complete after matric, they will be easily speaking English. But unfortunately, in our schools and in our the academics, there are cannot to be concentrations on the English. Just there are concentrations on the syllabus. Don't concentrations are their speakings and cognitive skills. That's why they cannot to be complete their aims.
That's exactly. That's a very touching point you mentioned that. So you know that actually, what is the importance of English? What is the meaning of English in our society in the whole Gilgit-Baltistan? Why we are very tend to learn English? Is it is there any beneficial thing to learn English? What are that?
Yeah, definitely. First is all you will be you if you are learning English, if you are understanding English, you will be easily pick the knowledge. In our global distances also, many your curriculum is consist of, if you will be talk about the educations, your curriculum is consist on what? In English.
Exactly.
If you will be if you will be fluently speaker of English, if you will be understand English, then you will be become a great person. And nowadays, in the past times, many students they are just reading to be Urdu, not focus on English. That times English was not necessary. In these times, your curriculum is 100% curriculum is consist. Sorry, 190% curriculum is consist of what? On English.
Exactly.
So that's why we should be focused on English. It is a beneficial for us. If anyone wants to be work on international levels, or many students nowadays they are doing to freelancings in a call centers. It is English is very necessary. If they have not learned English, then they have do not understand English. They cannot to be earn the money in this era.
Exactly, because
Yeah.
we are living right now. This is the technological era, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So everything that is exist or present that is in English.
English.
Let's suppose if I am going to Google something
Yeah, yeah.
to learn something from
Yeah,
that,
yeah, definitely.
then I need to put that prompt in English.
English.
Otherwise, I cannot get that material properly, right? So
Definitely.
exactly, you point some very touching point. That is the so if someone wants to go to abroad or any call center, any web designer, so he needs freelancing.
Yeah,
He needs to learn English.
yeah, yeah.
By the way, he needs to understand the
Yeah.
content of English
Yeah,
language.
any person who wants to be do a large scale business, it is English is also necessary because he is doing. If he wants to be doing a international level business, so that's why English is a very international language.
Exactly, exactly. So you know that in our society, there is no any environment,
Yeah,
especially speaking English. Even in our schools, classrooms, college, and university, there is no such a environment we can see and
yeah,
we can observe. So it is very hard for English learners.
yeah, yeah.
So in right now in in this era, in this time, there are so many things are available through online. Let's say ChatGPT. If someone wants to speak English, then he has go through ChatGPT, question answer, and also there are many apps that is good for them to learn English. So how do you see why we cannot create a an environment where the students will learn a new language?
Yeah, we all are involved in this mistake.
Exactly.
Like you and me are involved in this environment.
How?
Because, for example, you take a little bit examples. If we are going to be in our class, we
Exactly.
cannot use to be. I am a student of English,
Exactly.
and I complete my 1 years our hairs. I don't see. I didn't see in my class. We are used to conversation in a speaking English. That's why I cannot fluently speak English.
Even in English department.
I am a student of English departments. Definitely, I cannot use to English in our departments.
Exactly.
If in a years we used to be English in our class, I fluently speaking English because that is our what I want to say misleadings, our lack concentrations of the English. That's why we cannot to be fluently speaking. The environments make men.
Exactly.
make man makes
Man makes.
man makes environment हमें ही बनाता है.
Exactly.
That's why we make environment. Environment make us.
Makes.
So that's why we cannot to be focus on our English when we meet our relatives, like well-educated relatives, and also uh, charming friends and class fellows. We cannot use to be English. That's why after graduations, after master degrees, we cannot to be fluently speaking English.
Exactly.
So I am going to request all of the students, all of the well-educated pupils, you try to, if you meet well-educated persons, you try to speak English.
Exactly.
That is beneficial for you and the other.
Exactly. I'm going to say something and to extend your argument. That is, we can see in India, right? In India, every home and their child speak English because there is environment.
There is
Even in their at home,
That's why we can say as compared to Pakistan, India is progress nowadays. Because
India
is,
is
there is doing a lot of works on educations and the technologies.
exactly.
They used to be English fluently in different departments. Yeah, like you says in the as a child in a homes, he easily speaking English. In a Pakistan, a person he complete his master degree, but he do not to speak fluently.
Exactly. When I was in second year, one of our English teacher told us that there is a formula. If you want to know that formula, you can easily speak as well as a good writer. That I'm going to mention over here with my audience. That is if you want to speak English, first you have to go through listening.
Yeah,
You have to
definitely.
listen. You have to listen each and everything that are existing in English. Let's suppose English movies, English dramas, English sci-fi movies, English documentaries, English news, each and everything there is available on internet.
Yeah,
So you have to go there and try to build connect with internet and listen. Keep on,
keep
keep on listening.
carry on.
Yeah, at one time, at one day, you will be become a good English speaker. And other side, if you will become a good writer at that time, once you will start reading, you have to read books, read articles, read newspaper. Each all materials are content in an English. You have to go through. You have to habitual. You have to use to reading. Capacity will build up. One day you will become a good writer. One day you will become a good content creator. So yeah, that his my teacher's words touched me, and then I started work on that. Now I'm little bit English speaker, but I'm also giving advice my listeners who wants to build their communication, especially in English in this modern time, they have to adopt this, formula. So, what do you want to say something on this?
Definitely, I agree with your statements. Your teacher already told you if you want to speak English, you memorize the lot of a structure.
Exactly.
Structures. Structures means is different structures, thousand plus of a structures. If you have memorized the structures, you automatically use your conversations. So this structure conversation use in your conversations.
Exactly.
If you try to memorize lot of structures again and again.
Exactly.
And second point you says first you want to speak English. You focus on the speaker, what he want to say, what he want to say. Focus on their accent, their style, and try to pick up their words,
Vocabulary.
vocabularies. And first is all you will be able to be listener. Then you try to speak. If you cannot to be listen, how can you speak? It is impossible.
Exactly.
That's why focus on the listening. And third point is you mentioned if you want to speak, I want to become a good speakers. So you read a lot of books and newspapers. If you have read a newspaper, that times you will be in your newspapers new words in a daily basis. You mention these words and try to check their meanings in these words. And finally, it is you will be easily speaking English.
Exactly.
This is not a matter.
That's good. So there is a dilemma in our society that is first you have to go to grammar area or tenses. If you will be able to read and write and know all the tenses, 12 tenses as well as the another grammar portion area, then you will be able or capable to speak English. So what's your comments on it? Is it meaningful to learn the sense?
Yeah. There are two types. One is called a direct method and another is called a indirect method.
Exactly.
In a direct method, you use to the rule and regulations. Like you use vocabularies, you use tenses, first person, second person, third person. That times you focus on your grammar, you cannot to become a fluently speaker.
Exactly.
And one is what? Indirect method. In indirect method, you will be easily speaking English. Like, for example, I do an example, little bit example. You are a Shina speakers.
Exactly.
You are a Shina speakers. In your childhood, you read a grammar,
No.
you read a vocabularies.
No.
So you read a tenses structures. No.
Never.
These languages start as your society.
Exactly.
And one language we are going to speaking English, just speaking English, that is not necessarily your grammars. You try to throw out what types of vocabularies your minds you throw out. Doesn't matter. So if you want to speak English, you don't focus on indirect method. You focus on a direct method. In a direct method, you cannot use to the tenses, grammar, structures, but try to throw on. Then they will be actually fluently speaker.
Exactly. I totally agree with your points and your conversation. Now I'm going to conclude and I'm going to put last question. That is,
Yeah,
if a good writer and a listener, a person or student, he will be able to attempt the CSS exam. All right,
definitely.
CSS Central Superior Service. This is one of the champion exam is
Champion,
yeah,
yeah.
considered in Pakistan.
Definitely.
Those who will be able to pass that exam, they will be hired in a great positions and in a bureaucracy. So, what is the relation between English as well as the bureaucracy? Those appointed in a great job. So, how do you see this relationship?
So you are asking me the question is that why English is important for us CSS?
CSS exactly.
Yes, definitely. In a TSS, I listen, but I don't see anywhere. I listen. There are a total course code 12,
Exactly.
and you in Urdu and Islam in just Urdu, except all L1 courses is in English.
English.
Like your Islamiyat and Pakistani is included in English.
Exactly.
So that's why a person like he have an idea about in Urdu, who is the founder of Pakistan. He is easily speaking in Urdu,
Exactly.
but he never be understand, like he will not be understand this situation how he can attempt.
Exactly.
That's why a person who wants to become a CSS officer, his first is all know understand a question. If you cannot to be understand a question, how can you will be solve your papers?
Exactly.
So that's why my opinion is that if any persons which belongs to a different scholars, many scholars, they have a lot of knowledge,
Exactly.
but he never be complete their CSS test. The reason is that they have a lot of knowledge, but they have not to understand English. That's why they cannot to be attempts and they cannot to be success their CSS test.
Exactly.
So that's why anybody who wants to become a CSS officers, they should be focused on their language, English. They
English
should be
language.
focused. English is international language for in every field, not on a CSS. If you want to become a soldier, that is English is also your syllabus, mention your CSS.
Exactly.
If you want to become a 14 skill teachers, there is also 19% your a paper will be make in a English.
Exactly. Exactly. That's good. So my friend mentioned that English is very, very important for those CSS aspirants. Then first you have to go through strong your English language. Then after that you will be able to understand the criteria, the system that is existing in CSS area. So yeah, that's a great conversation. Me and with my colleague, my friend, and we learn lots and lots of things regarding English language. He told many things. He touched. So my viewers, those who are new in my channel, please subscribe my YouTube channel. By your support, I'm going to level my best day by day. Thank you so much for your listening.